It's definitely not fun to play around with mock data because you're here to learn real things. So head back over to your IDE and let's create a new folder. Right here next to the classroom frontend, I'll create a classroom backend folder. And we are ready to start creating the backend parts of our application, similar to what you learned in the crash course, using Node, Express, TypeScript, DrizzleORM, and Neon Postgres. So let's initialize a new Node.js project with a package.json file by creating yet another terminal window. This one we'll rename to backend, and we will cd into the classroom backend folder. And then this one will remain just the regular terminal one. Once you're within the backend folder, run npm init-y to initialize that package.json file, and you'll be able to see it right here. Now update the type of the package.json from common.js to ES module by typing module right here, which will allow you to use the import and export statements that we're using within React. Then go ahead and install Express by running npm express. And then we also want to install some dev dependencies by running npm install-d, such as TypeScript, tsx, add types /node, as well as add types /express. We'll use TypeScript for type checking, of course. tsx is a development runtime that will run TypeScript files directly inside Node.js, providing us with hot reloading and replacing TS Node. Then types node will provide some TypeScript definitions for globals, and same thing for Express. Now, to create a new TypeScript configuration, you can run npx tsc --init. And then as soon as you do that, you'll be able to see a new tsconfig appear right here. Now, I actually took some time to play with the configuration and to make it work with our backend application, and I'll provide you with the final tsconfig that I came up with within the video kit link down in the description. So if you go there and find the tsconfig file, simply copy it and paste it here. Then we'll also create a new .getignore file. This one will ignore all the files that we don't want to be pushed over to GitHub. And then on the web, if you head over to github.getignore, you'll be able to find a collection of useful getignore files. There's so many. You can use one for Node, node.getignore, and you can simply copy it and then paste it right here. Now, remember, we have to have the starting point for running our server. So let's create it in form of a file. We can first create a new folder within which we'll place that file called source. And then within source, we can create a new file called index.ts. Since I've already taught you how we can create an Express.js server within the crash course, you can use this opportunity to recap what you've learned and try implementing it again on your own. Or what we can do instead is ask Junie to do it for us. So I'll press Command-Shift-P and open up Junie, and then we will start again, and we will ask it to do it. I'll say, set up a simple Express.js server in TypeScript that listens on port 8000, uses JSON middleware, has a root get route that returns a short message, and logs URL when the server starts, and press enter. I'm assuming this is a pretty simple job for Junie to do. It'll first try to fully understand what the task is, and once it did, it already did it in a couple of seconds. It even asks us if we want to run it, but for now I'll skip. But yeah, just so you know, Junie can also run terminal commands too. With that in mind, it has implemented it and it is done. So let's close it. You can see that we are simply importing Express from Express, setting up the port to 8000, setting up a simple route, and then a console where we're listening to it. Now, to be able to run this TypeScript backend application, we need to use TSX, which is that development package that we just installed. And for it to work, we have to add some package.json scripts. First, the dev script has to run the file using TSX. Oh, and this is possible, but did Junie actually do it for me? If I check this out, oh yeah, it actually updated the package.json to use TSX. This is great. The only change that we can add is to actually make it watch over the changes over the file. Then I'll also add a couple more scripts, such as the build, which will simply run tsc, which will compile TypeScript source files into JavaScript for production. And then finally, as soon as I fix these string signs, we also want to add a start, which is not going to watch over the changes. It's just going to run it. So we can do node dist server.js. This is going to start the production server. But now we most care about running it on the development side of things. So open up your terminal and run npm run dev. And you should be able to see a server running at localhost 8000. And if you actually open it up and zoom in, you should be able to see, hello, welcome to the Classroom API, which means that our backend is running. Now you can again head over to github.com/new and create another repository. Yep, this is a dual repository project as it's a real full stack application. So let's call it classroom-backend and simply create it. Once you create it, we can stop it from running and run git init, git add dot, git commit -m initial commit, then git branch m main, git remote add origin, and finally git push u origin main. With that in mind, if you head over here, you'll be able to see the code, specifically the new server that we just ran on the backend side. Congrats! We officially have the server. Now in the next lesson, we'll allow this server to contain persistent data by introducing a database.